off the line, make our hits hard and quick for they don't make any ground, and just really be devastating on defense where we could switch quickly over to offense, and that's how we'd win the game today.
Vibes are really high, it's super nice, the sun's out, so that means it's a good day for rugby. Our team's super excited to start playing, so vibes are good.
My favorite part is like spending time with my teammates, just the energy that we bring and like how much fun we have together. That's just probably my favorite part.
Yeah. How do you think you guys are going to do today?
I think we're going to do pretty good. Like I think we have a good chance. We're playing against New Brunswick, so I think we have a chance against them, and if we work hard, anything can happen pretty much. So.
Feeling good, feeling ready, happy to be here. To shut down our opponent's defense and just really come up strong and make it as hard as possible for everybody else.
For me, it's like the team culture.
Yeah.
We're really tight-knit group, and it's always nice to come around and represent my province. And
what do you think is a highlight you're looking forward to for today?
obviously getting the win, that's all that really matters. Just doesn't matter how grimy it is, how close of a game. Really just want to go out there and perform.
Amazing. Do you have someone you want to shout out to back home?
Shout out my parents. Hi, Mom.
Yeah. So what do you think about the vibe for today?
I think it's great. It's really hot, so the guys are like really thinking about that, and they're all suffering a little bit, but we're all here to have fun and play as hard as we can to win, right?
So what do you think the team needs to do to bring in that victory today?
Well, the thing about rugby, offense is important, but the most important thing is defense. So we really got to get off the line, make our hits hard and quick for they don't make any ground, and just really be devastating on defense where we could switch quickly over to offense, and that's how we'd win the game today.
Pretend it's not there, but it was. Well, I got to look at it there. All right, I'm here with Lucy Van Berkel. You know, yesterday you had a good game against Team Nova Scotia U19, so here you are back at it 24 hours later. How's the team feeling? How are you feeling?
We're feeling great, ready to win today, hopefully. It was a tough game, really close though, compared to like when we played last year, or no, U16. It was not as close against that team, so it's a lot of improvement.
Yeah, you had a pretty good game yesterday. We're all over the pitch there. So basically, tell us what really was working for you yesterday.
For me personally?
Yeah.
Really just communicating with the team and just following the play. Playing defense more. Like the defense is more important at the end of the day than the offense. So.
Yeah, so let's find out more about you. So how did you get involved in this sport?
My dad played his whole life. And then I refused to play for like a few years, and then my sister started playing, and I was like, okay, I'll start to play. And yeah, I've just loved it ever since.
For you, there were a lot of hearing stories about people starting it right around like the high school age, sort of. Is that the same story for you?
Yeah, I started grade 9, so the summer going into grade 10, so a little earlier than everyone else, but most people start grade 10.
Yeah, so what are some of the things that you're working on and working on to take your game up to the next level?
I'm really working on seeing the best space at all times, giving opportunity for other people, and place.
Some future goals in the sport. Where do you see yourself going in this sport?
Hopefully, I really want to play for Team Canada. So Jack, if you're seeing this, and I'm really excited for U Ottawa next year.
Well, I hope Jack's seeing this, and congratulations on your success so far, and best of luck, and hope things continue going forward for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Lucy Van Berkel from the Nova Scotia U18 team. We're here in beautiful Windsor, Nova Scotia, on the grounds of King's Edge Hill School for the 2025 U19 Atlantic Senior Rugby Championships, and you were watching them here on All right, you're looking at the huddle there of PEI U19 as they're getting ready to take on Nova Scotia U18 here as we start day 2 of the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships here on Maritime Athletic Profiles. Good morning, everybody. Dan Hobson alongside Megan Bintz has decided to join us here for commentary. You know this Nova Scotia team. They had a game yesterday against U19, played very well. They've looked to make a few more adjustments. Your thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, so for a team playing up in a U19 division, it's super exciting to see some of the stuff they were doing out there yesterday. They're super physical, and they're hard off of defense, as you can tell right away.
Just a few changes in the lineup here for PEI. They're going to have Jane Norquist in at the 6th position, and we'll go over Nova Scotia's here in just a couple of seconds as Madison Martin is the ball carrier, quickly handing off. Right along that near sideline. Swing over there, McAldriff in the middle. And Nova Scotia, they do have some changes as well. A little bit of a different lineup that they put onto the pitch here. So it's going to be interesting to see. A very, what it looked like for U18 was going to be what they'd say was a tough start for them against the U19, but they bounced back and made it a lot more competitive and closer than what the score really indicated.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely did. They did have a comeback and a few switches were made, but they were able to come back with a harder second half, so that's exciting for them.
PEI with some early possession and
it was a
Martin
big run
driving.
by Madison Martin there. She also was a member of the U18 Canada training program last summer.
Snyder brought down on a hard tackle. Swing to the outside. Gillis quickly over to Roberts. Good open field tackle there by Demings for Nova Scotia.
Dan, it's looking as though that PEI U19 women's has a similar playing style as the U19 men's, where they're utilizing their back line, their back three, and swinging out wide.
Well, Sophia Black thought she's going to be off to the races and have one person to beat, but the play is blown down, so it's a top and go here for PEI. Stutter, we had a chance to talk to her a little bit earlier here, so we'll get a chance to know her during these championships. One of the players you have to keep an eye on. Back outside, Smallwood. Open field tackle, just along that sideline. Swung over, Snyder. Snyder dragged down there by the shirt in the middle. Sustained pressure here by PEI Roberts.
Good offload there.
Weather always a factor at these championships. The heat wave is over, but have a feel-like temperature right now. The sun's starting to come out. 17 degrees, possible showers later, maybe. 30% chance. They're back into the middle. So Nova Scotia maybe getting their first early possession.
There's Stella Feeney with a hard run.
Not to be surprised, because she was one of the ones that they were having to keep an eye on. And the boot and go after it, and it's going to be chased down there by McKinnon. Referee is Mike Dickey here this afternoon, or this morning.
Looks like we're bringing it back downfield for a penalty. And we have Sydney kicking for touch here.
Great kick just past the 10-meter mark, so Nova Scotia on the drive here, trying to get the early scores. We're into this one, 3.5 minutes. 45-minute game this one is. So they'll have a half of 22, 23 minutes. So it's really, really important here to try to get that first score early with the shorter time frame to do things.
Sophia Black here, throwing in for the line out. She's a recent U Ottawa commit. Beautiful fake there for Nova Scotia.
Swing it right into the middle and back. The pass was a little bit too far behind for Ava Devitt, so she'll have to go back and retreat. So just as soon as Nova Scotia was making a drive to the other side of the pitch, so they'll have to retreat and go back, and now they're going to bring near the midfield stripe. As they continue to swing to the outside on that far sideline, they may have something brewing, getting close to that 10-meter mark. They're now into PEI territory. Oh, nice little stiff arm. Yes, she's like, yeah, just not afraid just to put the hand up and knock potential tacklers away. Willis Glasgow. And they go back out. Sydney Thompson, she was a reserve yesterday, in the lineup here today. Smolders brought down near the PEI sideline. McPherson also getting a start here, didn't start in yesterday's game. But the passing looking pretty good. Oh, as soon as I say that, Van Berkel has a little bit of difficulty. It was one of those ones where she was sort of running before. It's like that old football, exactly. When you see it in football, it's like, oh, I've got a lot of daylight, and it's like you know catch first, run later. But when it's just so tempting when you see some open field, and that's what caused the knock on there. So we'll have. She
had some
scrum.
Great pace there, so
yeah,
just unfortunate.
Let's take a look at some of the actions here. So we'll send it down field side here. As I said, referee is Mike Dickey. Get you some sights and sounds here from the championships. Oh, a big turnover there for Nova Scotia on a big tackle. Knocked the barrel loose, and now Nova Scotia back on the drive once again with Willis Glasgow. Brought down just shy of the 10-meter mark. Steal by PEI. Martin drawing the drive there near the 10-meter mark. So got to be impressed with the tackling so far from both teams, Mayor Meg.
Oh, huge run from PEI's 10.
Yeah. Drew Gillis, like she had a really good game yesterday. So didn't get a try, but she had a good solid effort there in that first day of action. As Mike Dickey will blow things down. Scrum coming up. Let's send it down to him and get you basically some great sounds of this championship.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Pause it.
PEI having a little bit of advantage on the scrums a little bit early as Smallwood's the ball carrier.
It's quite a matchup, actually, in that set piece there with Madison Martin against Stella Feeney. They were U18 Canada teammates last year and now head-to-head in their front row, so it's an exciting matchup for sure.
Walsh with a hard tackle loses the ball. Nova Scotia has it and near their 22. And play blown down into the 8-minute mark here. Nova Scotia must be really happy with the schedule that they have here. They played that game yesterday and in the afternoon, so they've had a little bit of time to rest, and PEI had a little bit less rest, so it's going to be a little bit of an advantage factor later on in the game, or do you think it's going to be something that's going to be advantage now?
I think that as of right now, the heat either way definitely took a toll on all athletes yesterday, but definitely having the extra rest is going to give them a little bit of a boost this morning for sure.
Yeah, one of the games, like one of the players didn't know if she was spitting out water or was sick, but it was a possibility with the humidity. Was rated, the humidex was up there. It's going to be a little bit lower than what it has, but it would be in the 28s instead of the 35s and 36. Pass a little bit too far out of the reach there for Nova Scotia. Got it up by DeRoche. A nice little run here by Feeney. Well, you've got to see that basically the art of tackling is like everybody likes to see the high, pretty hits that lower the boom, but it's the legs that get the power. So you happy with the tackling so far?
Definitely. We've seen a lot of positive tackles, especially from PEI. They're hard up on their fours there and pushing them backwards on every hit, so it's great to see. We also see that Nova Scotia's utilizing their ball movement on the ground and utilizing their hips to push back a little bit on PEI because they know they're tightened for the support there.
Nearing the 10-minute mark, is still waiting for our first points of the game here between PEI and Nova Scotia U18, PEI U19. Not sure, like, if as I had a chance to meet you about 5 minutes before a broadcast, so I'm going to ask you a question that's open here. Is that, was there ever a time that you were sort of playing like maybe like a U17 or a U18 in that age bracket where you're playing a team that was higher age than you? Was there an intimidation factor going into that first time that you had to do that?
So last year, actually, we were the U18 team playing up in the U19 division, and we came away the tournament with a 5-0 record, I believe. And our very, very first game was actually against the U19 team. And, of course, you know how some of their players play, and you look up to quite a few of them. But I think we came in with a lot of confidence, and we came away with the win. So as long as you come in with humility but confidence as well, I think that playing up a division is almost a privilege because it pushes you to reach your full potential at a younger age.
Nova Scotia trying to get it past the 10-meter mark. It's been sort of like a little bit of a wall for them, and they try to tackle Feeney High was Martin there, but unsuccessful, as I said. The legs is where the power is. That's where they should do the tackling, but sometimes
great
pretty
line
hit,
by
but
Cala DeRosier there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, very much. DeRosier getting it past the 10, near the 22.
Right behind Demings. That was a great line.
Willis Glasgow. Brought down by the shirt is Van Berkel. We had a chance to speak to her. Heard that interview just before the start of this one. Now they're getting into deep down into the PEI side of the pitch.
Great take by Sid Thompson there with that dummy and go. Looks like they're utilizing their pick, and great drive by Sophia Black.
Yeah, they're inching closer here, trying to get a try. It was their best possession so far.
PEI is not giving up on that tight forward defense.
Back outside they go to Demings.
Oh, big run by Ava Demings there.
Demings getting it closer. They can almost smell the try line. Thompson back outside, bouncing ball, and they're going back with it and going to be called for the knock on. But you got to like the drive, sorry.
Oh, definitely. And those passes are hard to read as well, especially when you know there's going to be a skip, but it's also just at the reach of your fingertips. You're not quite sure if you're the one to take it or let your teammate pick it up because it wasn't quite as far. But here we'll have another set piece scrum with quite the front row matchup.
Crouch.
Send it down and we'll get the
Bind.
Hear what's going on field level.
Yeah. Far side. Make sure you're coming out and under. Okay. You're trying to go over and interfere. Okay. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Taken well by PEI there and crashed in. Was there 12?
That was like a really huge scrub that they need to come away with because Nova Scotia had momentum. Nova Scotia was driving and to win that one. And now Nova Scotia called for a penalty, so we'll see if the PEI going to take their time here as we're into the 14th minute. So we have less than 10 to go here in this first half. And it's a tap and go, a swing over Versteeg. Runs into a big gray wall of Nova Scotia. Booted there by Gillis.
Picked up by Deja Hooper-Dixon. Looks like
Right,
she's
yeah,
looking for the gap.
she was a very
Oh,
great
wow.
track athlete as well as a soccer player for Citadel, so you know that she's got the jets, and she showed it there. Lewis.
I remember the days when Deja was talking about her soccer debut with the Citadel soccer team. She was very excited when she got her first soccer ball for Christmas 2 years ago.
Willis Glasgow. We have a good run here. Feeney trying to follow it up. Feeney taking about 3 or 4 PEI potential tacklers with her. Once again, Nova Scotia on the drive. They can smell the try line. Can they get it over here as we're into the 15th minute? And we saw a few times yesterday they do the low game, and there's a steal by PEI. So close, but so far away for Team Nova Scotia. Still no score between PEI and Nova Scotia. Hard pass the handle.
Knock on there.
Yep, knock on as you said, so.
Playing it safe in the red zone, PEI would have definitely been their goal there. So unfortunate ball handling mistake. So I'm sure Nova Scotia is going to utilize this set piece to their advantage here.
Yeah, but PEI got that pretty much like just was almost like gift wrapped at a steal. Just grabbed the ball, was up for grabs, and
they were on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a
Crouch.
So PEI won the last one in this sort of red zone.
You need to come outside of her.
Nova Scotia's pressing. Their second best opportunity to score a try here. As we're to 16.5 minutes gone. As we're waiting for our first one, it's day number 2 of the U19 Senior
Bind.
Atlantic Rugby Championships here in Windsor.
Set. Coming your way, Jed.
PEI pushing the pile, but it's going to be Willis.
There.
Glasgow.
Off to the wing.
And outside, Isla David. We'll get it down for it's try 5 here for Nova Scotia U18.
That was a beautiful 8-man winger connection there while Bernacia just decided to hold in the defense and pop it off to Isla last minute. It was great work by Nova Scotia.
One-on-one battle. It's a 50-50 chance of whether you're going to get there for the tackle, make the tackle or not. So you had to like the matchup, and it worked well for Nova Scotia to get the first points here in this one, right around the 17-minute mark. But this is where like Nova Scotia U18 was really dangerous yesterday. They found a way to come on late, so very strong.
And creep up, yeah.
In that very first half against Nova Scotia U19.
Great kick.
And the conversion is good there for Sydney Thompson, and Nova Scotia has a 7-0 lead. Seen this a lot of the championships. So one team will start to have the early pressure, but unable to really get going. Like PEI got past like the 22, but really no further. And then Nova Scotia having a hard time getting past the 10. And then once they got in, they had 2 chances. And the second opportunity, they got it in on the successful win on the scrum.
On the scrum there, yeah.
So getting ready as we're taking a look at some of the action that we have seen so far here in this one. You really love this run there.
I love that line by Kala. She's going to listen back on that later and be very proud of herself.
As we back to the restart, bouncing off the chest there for McGrath. And
like you said yesterday, the humidity might have something to do with sweaty hands, a few drop balls.
Yeah, we had like a little bit of rain, and it's the track is still just a little bit wet from the rain that we had yesterday, but that was downfield level. Really, it's not a slick surface, so there's seems to be pretty dry. Feeney with a little difficulty with that pass.
But
you said about the humidity. Yeah, sorry.
PEI's hard up on their defense once again, so shutting down some of these passes and causing a little bit of pressure to be put on Nova Scotia. We just saw a few ball fumbles, but...
And I just saw one that stops play with a knock-on, scrum to come, so... So let's take it down field level and get you some more sights and sounds.
Yeah, you can. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Handling it on a bounce there was Roberts for PEI. Numbers to the outside, Gillis. 50-50 ball up for grabs. This play's blown down. Yeah, you see, like the last couple of minutes, you were talking about how the slippery, the passing a little bit, and there was pressure here by PEI, Nova Scotia. Same we said for Nova Scotia and PEI once again. So the defense stellar so far in this first half.
For sure, and you can tell those first 3 hard steps up off the line are crucial when it comes to how the offense team can react. So PEI's been doing a great job getting up in their face and putting pressure on those passes. Looks like we have a PEI scrum now.
Bind. Set.
Brett Zimmer and I would love to try to even this before the halftime.
Looks like they're going to attempt to swing it out wide here. Looking for their winger, but...
Martin runs into David, who's got the try here for Nova Scotia. Tap and go, Willis Glasgow on the go here for Team Nova Scotia near the 22. Cross the 22, taking a couple of bodies with her. Going along for a Friday morning walk. Kicked in.
Great kick by Deja there.
Can they get it down? And it's going to be unable to be placed down by Nova Scotia. It goes out of bounds.
Great look there by Deja Hooper-Dixon, though. If that had worked out, it would have been a very cool play.
I was just watching, like Willis Glasgow, as you said, to get those legs, keep the legs moving and driving, and she's hard to bring down.
For sure. She's been a great runner so far for the U18 Celtics here.
Handled on a couple of bounces by Team Nova Scotia, Van Berkel. And Nova Scotia called for penalty, and PEI will just tap. Stutter. Stutter's dad was actually involved in the sport, so it's a family thing for her. This play is blown down. So we're into extra time. And I believe that we have now hit halftime here at Kings Edge Hill. So the teams are going to have a little bit of a break, so we will step aside and we'll be back here in just a couple of moments to bring you the second half between PEI and Nova Scotia U18 at the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships, live here on Maritime Athletic Profiles. All right, we're here with Deirdre Stutter there from PEI. Your team had a difficult game yesterday, but you're ready to bounce back against U18 Nova Scotia today. So how do you think the things are going for the team so far?
I think we're definitely looking forward to this game. The weather's a little cooler, which we're definitely happy with. We've talked about our game yesterday, and we have our work-ons, and we also know what worked really well for us. So we're going to play to our strengths and definitely do our best in this game.
All right, so let's find out a lot about you. How did you get involved in this sport?
Grade 10, I just tried out. I fell in love with it. I played 7s. Grade 11, I moved on to 15s, and I loved it even more, and that was basically it. I was hooked.
Yeah, it's one of those sports where people sort of get into it like a little bit later into high school. So was it just all of a sudden you just started like watching an event and said, I got to get into that?
I have a bit of a background with wrestling, and so I was told, like, hey, you should check out rugby. You might like it. And so I knew I had to try out, and I loved it.
Wow, that's a little bit of a different background in amateur wrestling. So there must have been some memories that you have in that sport that you'd like to, maybe let the viewers know about.
Yeah, I loved wrestling growing up. Just the contact of it, being that one-on-one situation, and a lot of those skills translate to the rugby pitch for sure.
All right, so transferable skills. So basically now, final question before I let you go. What was your favorite rugby moment so far?
This is a hard one. Every moment is a great rugby moment. My favorite would have to be when I was in grade 11. My school won our provincials, and just the camaraderie and all the excitement of it, it's something that you'll never find anywhere else.
Well, Deirdre, thanks for taking time to talk, and best of luck to PEI the rest of the way in the tournament.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Deirdre Stutter from PEI U19. We are at the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships, and you're seeing them live here on Maritime Athletic Profiles. All right.
And welcome back to King's Edgehill School, Windsor, Nova Scotia, for the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships. And they're here on Maritime Athletics Profiles alongside Megan Betts. My name is Dan Hobson. And the rest of the crew are very entertaining. And, well, this reset for the second half is... Don't often see that pop of a fly for sure. It's like, so
right
scrub coming up, yeah.
For Nova Scotia here.
Called this sport on and off for like 6 or 7 years. Never see that just go like right straight up.
Right straight up,
right straight
right back
down,
down.
you know. right back where it came
for
from,
sure.
is what they say. So.
Great drive from Nova Scotia there. Oh, and up on the defense, PEI right away.
Nova Scotia, this is what they do, is they seem to take advantage of the penalty against PEI, because all of a sudden, like Willis Glasgow, she's gotten like so much yardage on the tap and go after a penalty.
And the urgency right away.
Gabby Shaw into this one now. One of the substitutions here in this second half. We're 22. Swing over Thompson. Willis Glasgow in the mix, but going to be called for a penalty, so PEI ball.
Stutter there had a great jackal, and you can see that she's going to take the pick and go as well.
Martin.
Great tackle.
Brought down near the midfield.
Oh, and jackal skills from...
There it is, and this is where penalties can hurt, because they have just seemed to take advantage of us. Willis Glasgow gaining some more meters there. PEI is retreating, and Glasgow's off to the races.
Her urgency on those penalties has been very beneficial for the Nova Scotia.
It's something that just PEI is going to, like, if the try to get back into this, they have to maybe try to stay away from penalties, because it has been costing them yardage for sure.
Yeah, the last three seem to be holding penalties.
Hold push back, hold push back.
PEI will come away with it this time. Open field tackle, Mark Roberts brought down. Stutter trying to go through two potential Nova Scotia tacklers. Sophia Black hovering over there looking for...
And Stella Feeney.
Pushing, yes. Pass very hard there for Willis Glasgow, right down on the ground. PEI has it, a free ball.
Quite a few knock-ons actually there that kept turning the ball over to each team a few times, and now it's finally ended in a scrum call. So
yeah.
Hopefully slowing this play down will allow both teams to reset.
That's exactly where I was thinking about, is that, okay, they've tried to go a little bit up tempo, do some quick passes, and it hasn't been working for either both teams. So have a scrub, settle it down, and take it down to field level and get you to some more sights and sounds.
Crouch. Bind. Both on the far side coming in, okay? Okay, let's go.
In some sports, there are some times you hear, like, you see like an official and they get all excited.
Crouch.
Well, who was that for you when you had your rugby matches? Like, oh boy, we're going to have this type of game. We've got this person reffing. Has there been anybody like that for you?
Oh, for sure. So actually from my home club, Annie Kennedy is been doing an awesome job. Also been on the national stage the past few years. She's, I'd say, one of the most well-known refs in Nova Scotia for rugby at the moment, and she does a great job handling both teams on the field. So knowing that I'm going to have her or Lauren Fider too, both great names to know that you're having official your games. So shout out to both of them. They're doing a great job.
Well, you talked about slowing the pace down, and it's
definitely slowed down. We have another set piece here for Nova Scotia.
Willis Glasgow.
Oh, and a pod taking in here.
Brought down by Martin. Swing it back out. Thompson.
Good
Have
line.
a run on
Gabby
the outside. Gabby Shaw.
What a line that was too. Similar to Kala's actually earlier in the first half.
Gabby Shaw gave it some solid minutes. Nova Scotia.
Oh, tackled out of bounds.
Yes. Well, you get that momentum and then just that perfect pass as we just seen here on the replay, and you get somebody going on the run and have the pass, hard to stop. And, you know, Gabby Shaw, a reserve and coming in, has been giving them some really good minutes here so far for Nova Scotia.
Sure, definitely an impact player. Came in hard and has been running those overs and unders lines, so great work right off the bat from Gabby Shaw. She, too, actually is joining me at Acadia University this upcoming season, so exciting next few years for her.
PEI try to tip it back and
fumbled right on the line there by PEI. Again, those exits are crucial to stay calm and collected, just so there's no fumbled balls, because one mishap there can cause a set piece for the other team in a really dangerous zone on the field. As we saw the same thing in the first half with NS Celtic score from that set piece right on the edge there, and they just played it out with their 8 in the wing, and the try was scored down.
Nova Scotia meters away from trying to increase this to a double-digit lead. PEI looking to snuff this drive out. Big scrub coming up here as we're coming up to 30 minutes in. Nova Scotia with the win. Thompson.
Oh, good offload there. Deja to Gabby Shaw, and one more to Isla.
David.
Once again,
David gets it down, yeah.
That's
Have yourself a day, Isla David.
Maybe she's
reserved yesterday in the lineup today and getting some pay dirt action here. A couple of tries for her, and they've made it a 12-0 lead.
She's been doing an excellent job holding her width out there in the wing, and her players hearing her voice and looking for that last-minute pop-off.
Ran a great route because it's just sort of just like angling away that basically froze the PEI player. As we look at it on the replay, and here's another view of it. As I said, Shaw's come in, and it's just been a little bit of a spark plug here.
The footwork there, too, was great, taking that first cut in and then back out. Completely broke the ankles of that defender there.
We're allowed to use a basketball term in rugby. Why not?
For sure.
Yeah, it can be used for rugby, too. Sydney Thompson. And short, so it'll be 12-0. It will stay.
First half.
Versions from outside, very difficult.
For sure.
Yeah. You were saying, sorry.
The first half seemed to be quite close, actually, and PEI was doing an amazing job on defense, and still are. So we'll see that if they're able to get some more ball handling moments, if they can get it out wide, see what they can do to creep back up here in Nova Scotia.
Taking a look at some of the action that we've seen so far just before the restarts for maybe those that are coming in. Stutter and Martin for PEI. They're pretty much the straw that stirs the drink as the reset is underway. Restart underway. In between the 10 and the 22, Nova Scotia has it again. Feedy. Willis Glasgow.
Tip line from Glasgow.
Yes,
big
down the
run.
Middle. There she goes. We see this a lot. One person to beat.
Oh my God.
From midfield, Willis Glasgow picking them up and put it down for the try. Nova Scotia U18.
She did a great job reading that gap was a little wider out of your usual tip line position, and she adjusted, made it work, and hit that straight arm, and she had whole field to her advantage. That's great for her.
That's the best run so far of the championships that we've seen in day one. Nobody really was that explosive, but here it is.
And great read from Stella Feeney with that tip pass there too, holding in her defender, seeing that gap and hitting Glasgow on the outside.
Blue by 1, blue by 2, blue by 3. PEI players. That's an easy chip shot there for Van Berkel. It's just like what we saw in some of the New Brunswick game yesterday to wrap up day number 1 of coverage. Quick strikes by Nova Scotia. It was a relatively close game, and now they've sort of blown it out with pretty much 2 quick strikes, and it's 19-0, just like in a blink of an eye.
You can tell that something sparked up, and they've got a lot of momentum now, and I think they're going to utilize that to their advantage. So.
And as we said, it's this 45-minute game, so now time already a factor as they're getting close to right around 10 to go as we're into the 34th minute, so 11 and change. And Nova Scotia having the ball possession here.
Great drive from Ava Demings.
Yeah, just took a few people. They were holding on to her shirt, but she was taking them along for the ride. Passed a little bit high, but handled there by Pillicost. But a knock on, so scrum coming up, and coach's staff have really done a great job of whatever they took from the first half and made the adjustments in a short time for adjustments, and they have seemed to maybe seen something in the PEI that they didn't see before, because they have just now have the ball pretty much the majority of the time in the second half, scored a couple of tries.
You can tell they've definitely added a few more layers in with their backlines as well as their forwards, so possibly magnifying those tip lines and also those overs and unders have been able to disrupt the defensive line of the PEI
and
team.
Ball pressure, ball possession, because the thing is, PEI can't score if they don't have the ball.
For sure, so.
And Nova Scotia called for penalty. Back 10.
We spoke too soon, keeping pride in their possession. Unfortunately, it was turned
well,
over
it's called the announcers jinx there, Megan. So it's what I'm kind of known for. Don't do it on purpose. It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah. And then
every time and
the thing is, like, the thing that's so been great having you here is you haven't called me out on it, where other color people in the past have called me and said, you are a Jake, you know that, Dan, for saying
no,
that.
I'm
so
not calling you out. It happens.
You're the first one that hasn't done that. The first. So we're into the 36 minutes, so we have less than 10 to go, and Nova Scotia pitching a goose egg is fit. From Anakin-ish, Nova Scotia, getting some action.
You can see the Stutter has been very quick to her counter rucks there and looking for the Jacqueline Poach opportunity every time for PEI.
Fit in the wintertime, if memory serves me correct, a member of the Northern Selects of the Female Hockey League.
Oh. We're going back to a penalty.
Looking at the replay here, and really difficult pass. So it's just like a bouncing pass, and as you said, just when it hits the turf, it's basically it's a guessing game where the ball's going to go. It's no real bounce to it. It's a guessing game.
You never know, yeah.
Into touch. So when's your autograph sessions there once the broadcast comes in? Because you seem to be having a lot of people waving to you saying hello. So where's the lineup?
I think everyone's quite excited to see me up here. They know that this isn't my usual job at a rugby tournament. So a lot of parents are like, that's Meg Benz? It's funny when injuries take you out and you know it's going to be a prolonged time that you're out of your sport, you have to pick up some new hobbies, so maybe this is the one.
Yeah, well, okay, you brought that up. So what have you been doing? Like, just besides...
My rehab.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
Coach.
rehab has actually taken quite a toll on my daily schedule, but that's probably going to be my full-time job for the next year or so.
You've taken up painting?
I have not taken up painting, except though during high school I was in IB art, but it was not my strongest subject, that is for sure. Probably won't be attempting that again.
The pass actually deflected there off of Hooper Dixon.
Actually, I have no idea how that just happened.
Yeah, it was like they threw the PEI was throwing the pass and it just hit the body, right place, right time for Hooper Dixon. It has it again. Swing outside to Roger. Hard tackle brought down there by Abby Walsh of PEI.
Thursday has been doing a great job at being there as a support player for almost every play. You never even realize that she's there until a player's taken down and she's there for that
Phillips driving, and she was a starter yesterday, trying to also give us some good minutes here to Nova Scotia. So this has been a solid, pretty much team effort here for them today. Everybody's contributed. So you look at once again some of the action.
Kick for touch.
Into touch, as you said, so.
Well, beautiful spot, too. I wonder if they're going to utilize them all here.
Addison Gray will check in, number 20 here for Nova Scotia. So.
It was a great shift by McGrath, though.
Pretty well, mostly everybody has gotten into this one here for Nova Scotia. Into the 40th minute. What was relatively pretty much almost like balance in terms of play in the first half. In the second, Nova Scotia's just dominated, and PEI's just been spent a lot of time here defending.
Oh, and they are utilizing that maul. Oh, but defended well by PEI.
At the end,
extremely well. Oh, maybe not.
Nova Scotia once again. They do get it down.
Oh, Stella Feeney taking that one in. Quick urgency, like you said earlier, that they were going really fast on those penalties, and PEI didn't even have time to reset both times.
And they didn't even have a lot of territory because it was relatively close to the try line. As we take a look at some of the action here, it was just not even really time to set there. They get onto the line and boom, it's in.
Exactly, and even if they do have time to reset, as a prop, Stella Feeney definitely works on her body height quite a bit, and she came in with great body height during that tap and go there, as you can see in this replay. She was so low. And as a defender, especially on try-line defense, that's hard to get under when their upper body's almost touching the ground, diving into that red zone there.
Sydney Thompson here with the conversion. And it's
Great
good.
Ball.
Didn't want to say too much because we talked about the jinx factor, right? So
yeah, didn't want to call it.
Yeah, it was like basically just for the conversion. Because it's on my tip of the tongue, this should be an easy chip shot, and it was. Making 26-0. Most of this offense from U18 has come here in this second half as we restart underway, and
great defense from PEI.
And it's great. A great effort defensively here for Prince Edward Island. They've been sort of defending a lot here in this second half, and as we've documented a lot here throughout the championships, it's like they're not really getting a lot in terms of chances because of offense because they're defending, and therefore they're, all of a sudden they're defending a lot, so they're a little bit more fatigued right now.
Exactly, just like the U19 PEI game versus Nova Scotia yesterday. Very similar set. So Nova Scotia's been doing a good job keeping pride. Oh, great run by Phillips there. That straight arm was deadly. She actually is known for that during her high school season as well. She plays here for King's Edgehill.
And of course, we've all documented about the strong rugby program that they had here. As Kinsey Cicchetto's taken over the coaching staff. It was in her first year. And then previously that, they won 2 provincial high school championships. Under Rory Campbell is now coaching in Pictou somewhere. From what
Once again, Phillips with that straight arm. She has 4 defenders on her.
Just keeping the legs moving and hard to bring down. Eventually does go down.
Oh, unfortunate missed pass, but picked up on the wing there.
They have an injury here to PEI.
Oh, no.
Could be a wrist. So we're going to step aside, and we'll be back with more action here in just a couple of seconds. And this play is back underway. PEI tried to get some points here. Clock not on their side.
Forward pass, unfortunately.
Less than a minute to go.
That's game.
They're calling the game there, so as they say, the clock's...
We were ready for a little bit more, but maybe not.
Not quite official. The official has the regular time, but it's going to be a shutout here for Nova Scotia U18 over PEI U19, 26-0. Meg, some final thoughts here on this one?
I think they definitely started off, both teams started off great in the first half, and it was a closer first half. And I guess Nova Scotia just got that spark after halftime. Whatever was said, it worked, and they're up and running, had some great momentum, and utilized that to their advantage for the win here today.
All right, when we return, we're going to have Isla David from Nova Scotia U18 to wrap up our first game on day number 2. So you are watching the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships on Maritime Athletic Profiles. Back in just a couple of seconds. And welcome back to Windsor, Nova Scotia. We're on the grounds of King's Edgehill School for the 2025 U19 Senior Atlantic Rugby Championships here at Maritime Athletic Profiles. Delighted to have Isla David. Had a couple of tries in this one. Congratulations. Great game by you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was a good game. We knew all the girls, some of them we played against them for our Canada camps, and so it was kind of familiar competition, but it was good competition.
Like that first half, it was relatively close game. It could have gone either way, but the second half, you guys just seemed to explode.
We held it down. I don't know. We just held it down.
Yeah. And what was working for you? 2 tries. Tell us about the tries, like the first one and then the second one, and what you saw in the play.
Just hit out the outside, and yeah.
On both of them?
Yep.
That's pretty simple.
I just got to use my speed and hit the outside.
Yeah. All
right, so tell us how you got into this sport.
I joined in like grade 10 because my high school team had the program, and I had some girls that were already on the team being like I should join because I played football for the guys team, so they said I should join rugby, so I did.
Yeah, what was that high school, by the way?
Auburn Drive High School.
Auburn Drive High School, so shout out to Cole Harbor and Auburn Drive. So yeah, so future goals here in the sport, where do you see yourself going?
I see myself continuing university rugby and then maybe off to Team Canada.
All right, well, fantastic efforts. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
Isla David, player of the game, 2 tries here for Team Nova Scotia with a win over PEI as they shut them out here in game number 1 of day 2 of action. So for the entire crew with Maritime Athletic Profiles, my name is Dan Hobson. Thanks for watching, and so long from Windsor.
Shut down our opponent's defense and just really come up strong and make it as hard as possible for everybody else.